Hello everyone, welcome to my channel in All Seasons Homestead. In case you're new, I'm Joanna. I hope you can join me today for part 2 of decorating my home for fall, mainly with thrifted decorations and things I've already had and even some things from nature. This little spot right here beside my kitchen sink is one of my favorite places to decorate. I usually try to keep it simple and the same everywhere in my home, but this is one place that I can kind of change out with plates and pictures and little shelves. These are the last of my sunflowers, so I'm taking advantage of them. They're not as beautiful as they have been all year, but I'm going to switch out my marigolds and replace it with the last of my sunflowers just to enjoy the beauty and the simplicity of nature for free. And it's just a beautiful pop of color before the season kind of dries out and becomes brown. So this is a rocking chair that I thrifted a couple of months ago from a flea market. I'll probably show this in another video more detailed later, but it was quite sticky and just very dark and heavy looking. So we spent a good couple of weeks just sanding it down little by little. And then I used some early American stain to give it a nice warm finish. And this is one way that I brought cozy into our living room. And I believe I paid $10 for this chair. And I really think that it has nothing to do with, pumpkins or fall leaves or anything, but I think it brings that beautiful simplicity of something cozy to your living room. Okay, this wall in my kitchen is above my coffee machine to the right side of my dishes and sink. And this is one place that I like to change out every once in a while. I tend to leave things the same way for a very long time when I'm happy with it. And I love the simplicity of my creamers. And I'm sure I will put those back because that's what I'm the most happy with. But just for this fall season, I'm going to try a few things. I'm going to remove the floral plates and leave the simple ones, and then bring some more wood tones, warmer colors in with these mashers. And I have no vision for this. I just know I wanted to switch it out and have warmer colors. So I'm just going to play with this shelf for a couple of minutes to see what I can come up with. And I'm just grabbing things from around my house, things that I already have. And I think that's one simple thing in my home anyway, is once I find something I really, really like, they become classic pieces for me. And I can just take them from one shelf and move them to another shelf. And it's nothing I have to go out and buy or store away. I can just simply grab it and move it. And then it's something new for the eye to look at. To the right, you can see that really dark finish. That is some kind of grading board. It's very primitive and it looks very old. I think it's very unique. I love it. But my little boy said he wanted me to take it off the shelf. He just didn't like it. He said that ruined my whole shelf. But I'm actually going to leave it. I like how it looks. It looks primitive. It looks warm. And I love the contrast of wood against white ironstone. That's one of my favorite looks. The next thing I'm going to do is work on my kitchen table by removing the toys and the games that my son was playing with. And I usually don't do too much for my kitchen table. I like to keep it simple because we're constantly, eating 2-3 meals plus snacks. And then, sometimes we do school outside, downstairs. Sometimes we do school on this table. So this table gets a lot of traffic, and I usually just like to keep that basket with napkins and salt and pepper and just keep it simple. But today I am going to put one tablecloth, and I think it has a really pretty warm texture. I love the blues and the orange and the creams, and it has that pretty knit look to it. So I usually pull this tablecloth out a couple of times through the fall season. Just to have something different to look at for a while, but it gets dirty quickly. So probably in a couple days, I'll take it back off and wash it. And I have several doily runners and more simple things that I feel like it's pretty and warm, but it's just easier to keep the table clean. So since it's fall, I'm going to add another layer, the doily runner, and I'm going to put that on top of the tablecloth just to give it some extra texture, and I just really like how it looks. And for now, I'm just going to keep it simple with my basket of napkins right in the middle. And I'll probably add a centerpiece at the end of this video. I'm not sure how long it'll stay there, but it needs to be a simple, movable, easily movable centerpiece. I thrifted these wooden candlestick holders for 75 cents, and I have not shown these in a thrift haul. If I remember, I will try to add that to my next thrift haul, but I love the warm color. They're really in nice condition, so I'm just gonna add a simple brown ribbon around it, again, just to give that hopefully simple but layered look for fall. And I also thrifted that ribbon for 25 cents, and I've already had these candles, so this did not cost me anything, but yet I thought it was really cute. I did place these candlestick holders on my table for a couple of days, and I really like how they look, but I did end up moving them because, like I said, I try to keep the table very simple so we can fill it up with food, and they'll just probably get knocked over anyway. This is an area that I decorated this summer, and I had my simple white plates. I added these white candlestick holders, and I'm going to add some brown simple ribbon to those just to give it a little bit more color up there without going too crazy. This is an area that I kind of styled in my part 1 video. I just added those ironstone crazed bowls and hydrangeas over to the left, and I added that wreath hanging from the peg. So I don't really want to change this area too much. I like the simplicity. So I'm just going to try out some brown ribbon and see which ones I like. I have the lace ribbon, and then I have a more simple smooth ribbon. And I ended up keeping the lace ribbon for the wooden candlestick holders, and I'm going to use this simple brown ribbon up here. And I don't know, I thought it turned out really cute and simple. I really liked how the brown popped against the white plate, and it was the same color as the shelf, so it made me very happy. The next thing I'm going to work on are some curtains for underneath my sink. This is some gingham fabric that I actually ordered as a pillowcase, and they came in way too big. It's a really light beige color, and so I got this ribbon and this tiny floral pattern that has browns and beiges and creams in it. I know it's not really too dark or too moody, or it doesn't really scream fall, but I just wanted to switch out my curtains above my sink and below my sink. So this is my option I have for now. I saw on Pinterest that somebody had some pretty, I think it was gingham pattern fabric, and they put a piece of lace or a window balance on top of it, and that's what I did right here. I'm just playing around with different things that I have, different ideas. I got really excited about this. I thought it looked super cute and cozy, kind of granny chic, kind of cottage vibes. I also had this really pretty floral. I love the colors and textures in this. I thought it was kind of spring-like, so I ended up not using it, even though I think the color, the dark brownish beige would look pretty. I think it'd work enough, but I just didn't use it because it didn't really go with anything else that I have right now. But I'm just playing around with these patterns, and I'm going to rip my pillowcase apart because obviously it has the backing, and I'm going to just try to put something else on top of it and see how it works. I considered this piece of lace also. This was a piece of a curtain that I had cut off of a really long curtain, and it already had the spot where I can put the curtain rod through. But again, I didn't use that either. I might use that in a future project. So this is my thought, that I will use these 2 pillow covers, and I haven't cut the back off of it yet. It's kind of bulky with the back. I'll cut that off and use that for something else, and make 2 panels with this. And I'm going to play around with the lace, and I'm going to put it more towards the top and then replace it and put it in the bottom. But I'm also going to look at this piece of fabric here. I think it's so pretty and rustic with the sun shining through it. I just love it, but I may wait for that and use that for a curtain balance maybe in the spring, and try to find something that kind of goes with it for the sink curtain. But I'm just showing you guys all of this, and I'm probably blabbing and not making much sense, but I just wanted to encourage you or inspire you to see if you have something already in your closet or your boxes that you could turn into something pretty. And we don't always have to go out and buy new things. I think my biggest thing is I'm really picky about fabrics. I really like the quality and the texture of the vintage fabrics. Oh, and the colors too. I love the colors of the vintage fabrics. But one thing that stops me from buying newer fabrics and material is just the quality and the texture and just the lack of color. So I kind of just take my time in making things lately. So that's why I'm just going to take apart things I already have and try to make and create something new. And it's also been quite a while since I've done a DIY project. I don't really have much patience for it anymore. But this morning was actually kind of pleasant. I was enjoying the morning, and I took off my old curtain, which would be just fine for fall or Christmas. It's a very primitive green, but I've had it here for a couple of years and it's dirty. It needs to be washed anyway. So I'm just going to see what this looks like. It's kind of an experiment. So I do like the idea, and I love the inspiration picture from Pinterest, but it's just not going to work on my sink. You can see here it's way too short. I readjusted the material, and then I also lowered my rod, but then the top part, you could just see through the curtain under the sink. And I would like to do a little bit of a sink makeover and put some new wood and I don't know what those things are called. This little curvy detail in the corners. And it doesn't look too bad on camera. This valance is not sewn yet, but I just pinned it to see what it looks like. But yeah, it doesn't look too bad on camera, but in person, if it just gets barely bumped, it just doesn't look right. So this is option number 2. I'm going to get this other material, and I bought this in the first place for the curtain, and this is how it turned out. I am going to put a piece of lace where the 2 materials meet, the 2 patterns, and I sewed my valance up here at the top, and I love, love, love how this turned out. I'm just so happy with the upper curtain. I hope I'm saying that right, valance, curtain valance, but the bottom still needs the lace, and I'm going to leave it for now just to see if I like it, if it grows on me, but at least it covers my sinkhole better. Okay, I recently thrifted this piece of pottery right here. It's very crazed and chipped with a blue stripe. I absolutely love it. It should be in my next thrift haul video, but I'm going to give you a little sneak peek of it because I really want to decorate with it. I just feel like it's very warm. Blue, usually I think of summertime, but I just feel like it's so crazed and faded. It just feels very warm. So I'm going to use it for fall decoration. And I really don't care about things being too matchy. I kind of like to think outside the box and, like I said, use what I have. And this is some dried yarrow from my garden. I have a lot of dried yarrow, and I just went out to the fields and I picked some dried chicory and even some corn top pieces. And I'm just going to play with things that I just got outside. I have this lighter cream colored yarrow as well. That I cut freshly off my plant and I dried it out, and that's why it's a prettier cream color. And then the other yarrow I just left to dry out in the garden and cut later. But I liked the two colors together, the light brown and the dark brown. This little area next to my hutch, I switched the top plate out in my last video for a brown and cream transferware. And I was going to keep this just very simple with the baby's breath, but I decided to add some of the yarrow and the pieces from the corn stalks and just fill this up. And I was actually quite pleased with the coloring and the texture. So I just worked on this little basket and filled it up. And I really, really liked this also. I really like to see certain YouTubers' videos of their fake flowers from Hobby Lobby. I think they pull it together really well. It's stunning and it's beautiful. But every time I go to Hobby Lobby, I just get very disappointed. It just looks too fake for me. So I'd rather just go outside and use something that's already dry and real. I just like the texture and the look more. But they do a wonderful job with their flowers. It always looks beautiful. So this is where I'm going to leave you guys. I ended up changing my tablecloth because I made a horrible yarrow mess. Thank you all so much for joining me today. I hope that you loved this video. Please remember to like and subscribe, and feel free to comment below. Ask me any questions. Let me know what you think. Remember to embrace this season that we're in and enjoy the beautiful cooling weather, and I will see you soon.